Hello, everybody, and welcome to the New Flame Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, along with Kareem and Dean. They are back. Sorry that they weren't there last week. We had technical difficulties, like I said, but they are back. So, today is Saturday, November 14th, and let's get right into the news. Starting with the NFL Week 9 recap, the first couple minor notes is the Texans and Jags game. Now, this might be, why is that important? It's because, I really think that the Jags are really good at drafting sixth-round quarterbacks. Gardner Minshew last year was playing pretty well. He was injured this week. And Jake Luton, another sixth-round pick, he looked really good. He had that crazy run with a few seconds left with the chance to tie it. They, of course, did not get the two-point conversion and didn't get the onside kick either. But yeah, Jake Luton looked really good for the Jags against the Texans. Texans don't have a great defense, obviously, so threw for over 300 yards, I believe, a touchdown, an INT, 13 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown, like we said. But I think he's gonna start over Minshew, and that was the whole meme, thing down in Jacksonville. It was like Minshew Mania last year. They're gonna have to find something for Jake Luton. Next year, if they draft a quarterback in the draft, because they're gonna have a high draft pick, I think the Jags, give it a few years, they could be good again if they continue to get good play. Then the Bills look like they did the first few weeks of the season. Now, you remember the first, they started, 4-0, something like that. Granted, they were playing easy opponents, but, they were still looking really good, and, the past couple of weeks, they had to play the Titans. They got slaughtered. They played the Chiefs. They they lost that game. It was close, but they still lost, and then, this week, they finally figured it out again against the Seahawks, in that very historically bad defense. They are on pace to set a record for most total yards allowed. I think it's over 5,000. It's incredible. It's incredibly funny how bad that defense is. They tried to make it better with Carlos Dunlap. He did okay. He had a sack, a few tackles, but I don't think there's anything saving that defense. And when it comes to the playoffs, I don't trust them to win in the playoffs, just like I don't trust the Steelers to win in the playoffs. They're going to get torched if they have to go up against, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Jones on the ground, Devontae Adams, Robert Tonyan. The Seahawks, they're one of those teams that, they're good just because their offense is incredible. Russell Wilson is looking like he should finally win MVP this year. Chris Carson has been good on the ground. DJ Dallas, who's been getting the starts the past couple of weeks because of injuries to their two starting running backs. He's looked good. But, yet again, the defense is, like I said, historically bad. So, the Seahawks, I think they can make a deep playoff run, especially with the 7 teams. They're going to beat the easy teams to be, if the, what's a average team in the NFC? The Eagles. If they have to play the Eagles, they're going to win that game, but, they're not going to beat the Packers or the Saints or the I already said the Packers, but yeah, the Seahawks, I don't know how they're going to fix that defense. The Jets on Monday night almost won. I can't believe they blew it. They could taste victory, and then Joe Flacco just decides to throw an interception to J.C. Jackson. He overthrew his man. And it was no, Joe Flacco, unbelievable. I was honestly pretty sad. But even with the Pats winning, I still think they're going to get a pretty high draft pick. And, they're probably going to go quarterback if they don't trade it. And one guy that they could try to get is Justin Fields. Because, if you look, the Texans, the teams that have high draft picks, the Jags, the Giants, the Jets, obviously, who are going to take Trevor Lawrence. Washington. They don't really need quarterbacks, per se. They need help elsewhere on defense. But, I mean, the Pats could get Justin Fields. I could see him slipping down to 6 or 7. The Pats could make a trade, or, if they just decide to embrace the tank, just, lose out, maybe win a game or two. I mean, obviously, as a Pats fan, you would be very sad if they did that, but it's looking like that's where they might have to go to get their future quarterback. And then, speaking of the Patriots, I guess now the Buccaneers, Thomas Edward Brady, oh man, what happened on Sunday night against the Saints? 38-3, 35 points. That is the largest loss in Tom Brady's career. I mean, it just did not look good. I saw a thing that Antonio Brown, in his Buccaneers debut, I mean, I was way off on that prediction. The Bucs didn't even score a touchdown. I said 7 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. But, I mean, he played better defense than he did offense. He caught, 2 passes for, 7 yards. He had, a tackle and a pass deflected. So, I mean, that's pretty good if you're a cornerback. I mean, maybe you want a few more tackles, but, yeah. I mean, just the Saints were steamrolling the Buccaneers. They exposed them. I mean, they got Michael Thomas back this week. So, I mean, obviously that's huge. You no longer have to laser focus on Alvin Kamara and Jared Cook, who've been their leading receivers. You now have to look at Michael Thomas, and now that leaves Kamara or Traquan Smith or someone like that open for, and then to just drive down the field and then eventually score the touchdown. I mean, Jameis Winston, against his former team, he ate the W. I mean, I think we've all seen that by now. I think that will be one of the funnier moments of the year. Breeze had his press conference after the game. Jameis came over and ate the W. I mean, if you don't like that meme, I'm sorry. It's just, it's really funny. But yeah. And then going on to the 4:25 game on CBS, the Cowboys and Steelers had a really good game. I mean, the Cowboys, they just looked better. I mean, and granted, the Steelers are known to playing down to their opponents, which they obviously did this time. But, I mean, Garrett Gilbert, the former AAF MVP, right? Am I correct in saying that? Kareem, I think you know. Udine?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, he didn't win it. Garrett Gilbert, didn't he win AAF MVP?
Oh,
yeah.
Yep, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so anyway, he looked pretty good against the Steelers defense. I mean, he almost won that game. They came up short. Ben Roethlisberger, he got injured. Mason Rudolph came in for a few plays, and then he came back right after half. I mean, Ben has always been known for, playing through little injuries like that. Even little more major injuries, that wasn't really low injury. It was a pretty major injury, I think. It was a knee, so you never know what's gonna happen with a knee. If you get hit wrong, and you're done. So, he played through it. He let the second half come back, and the Steelers came out with the win. I mean, it wasn't pretty, but a win's a win. They moved to 8-0. Cowboys moved to 2-7. Are now in second to last.
Like that.
Yeah, second to last in the division behind Washington. Behind New York, behind the Giants. The Cowboys, maybe they have a chance to win a few extra games than they thought they would.
By the way, they're behind Washington.
They're behind Washington, so, yeah. So I was right the first time, dang it. Maybe when Andy Dalton comes back, I fully expect Garrett Gilbert to be the starter, especially if he plays well this Sunday. Expect Garrett Gilbert to be the starter over Andy Dalton, who just did not look good in his few game and a half that he played in. Next on to the Trojans and Raiders. Raiders win it 31 to 26. The Trojans should have won that game twice.
It was a really good game.
It was. I didn't even watch it, but, it came down to the last play. Justin Herbert, the last two plays, they thought they had a touchdown, ruled incomplete, the first one was, it was better. I think that one was a little bit more incomplete, but the second one, that was a touchdown.
The last play of the game?
Yeah, the one to Donald Poham Jr. That was a touchdown.
You think he got the 2 feet?
He got the 2 feet and then the elbow or the knee or whatever. If you get two like feet, knees, elbows, you're in. And so he got the 2 feet and a knee, and then his elbow hit out of bounds or whatever, and then that's when he lost it.
Yeah, my dad was arguing the same exact thing. He said, I don't know why they call that as an incomplete. He clearly had 2 feet and then got down, lost it out of bounds.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know why they call that incomplete.
Yeah, if anything, it's a fumble out of the back of the end zone, and the Raiders would have had it at the 20. If anything.
Yep.
I mean, that's the only logical call besides a touchdown, which is the most logical in that situation. But, I mean, Justin Herbert continues his Rookie of the Year campaign, but, I mean, the Chargers just aren't winning games, and then they have a really interesting game that we'll talk about later against the Dolphins this week. Next game, Dalvin Cook continues to destroy opposing defenses. I mean, granted, they're not great defenses or rush defenses like the Packers and the Lions, but still, this week he had 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, like, Dalvin Cook is a dark horse MVP race or candidate.
Yep.
Definitely, I would say. But I mean, if he can continue in the Vikings, I mean, the Vikings have a tough matchup this week against the Bears on Monday night, in which Kirk Cousins is 0-9. So on Monday night in his career, but I mean, Dalvin Cook, he is a guy that can win you, a couple extra games, Yep.
Like, because Tony Jefferson, he hasn't really done much. I mean, they're really relying on their run game in the past few weeks after Dalvin Cook came back from injury.
Yeah, I mean, Dalvin Cook had that injury out. He was out for a game, and now they've found something that's really working for them. I think they're going to become a run-heavy offense, for the rest of the season and maybe even to next year.
I think it's just like what Cleveland needs to do. I think, I hate to make the connection to Cleveland because we're talking about Minnesota, but, I mean, with Nick Chubb coming back, Cleveland needs to keep running the ball.
Yeah, they kind of got away with it with Kareem Hunt a little bit. They were mostly just checking the ball down to him, but...
Yep.
But yeah, the Chiefs, next game, Chiefs and the Panthers, 33-31, Chiefs won it. The Panthers tried a late comeback attempt. It fell wide right. I mean, obviously,
that Joey
Sly. I mean, like, he has one of the strong 67. Yeah, he has one of the strongest kicking legs in the league. I mean, it was just wide right. I mean,
that would be crazy.
I know. I really think the Panthers should have tried. Literally, there were like 5 seconds left. They had time for like a quick play to make it like a 60-yard field goal. I honestly think they did not execute that well. Like, why? I think everyone should have just been out wide, and everyone should be running out routes instead of you try to hit a running back on like a wheel route. They tried to hit
just throw out of bounds
and then you attempt the 67-yard field goal. Yeah. But I mean,
you have the kicker. You have the kicker trying to attempt the longest field goal in NFL history for a game winner. I mean, if you do have 5 seconds left, again, like you said, go 5 wide and have them all run out routes, get a quick play, get out of bounds, and maybe make it a 62 or 63, just to make it a little easier, not a almost 70-yard field goal.
Yeah, because like it's just, I mean, I understand why they did it, because like had that been like a straight kick, I think it would have gone in. It was strong enough. It was just wide right.
Yeah, I just think the problem was like trying to get that much power, like kicking it that hard.
Yeah, you have to kick it that hard and try to kick it accurate. Yeah, you kind of lack the accuracy for the power.
Kickers to do it.
Yeah,
it's very, very hard.
Yeah. Next game we have the Washington football team and New York Giants. The Giants, they've now snapped 2 ankles within the division. Obviously, Dak Prescott and now Kyle Allen. And so, I mean, obviously, we hope he gets better. He comes back next year, with Washington or whoever he's going to be with. And he played well because he was, playing decent for Washington this season. I mean, obviously, they're not a great team. But if you can get average quarterback play, I mean, you'll take it. But Alex Smith came in, relief, threw for 300-plus yards, a touchdown, but he had 3 INTs. I mean, obviously Alex Smith, he threw a touchdown. I mean, that is one of the greatest comeback stories ever.
I mean, so what? Giants pull off a season sweep?
Yeah, against Washington. Team, right? Yeah, and I mean, a few weeks ago it happened because they went for 2 and didn't get it when they should have just gone for 1 and tie it. This time they lose it because Alex Smith got baited into a throw so hard. Logan Ryan was just waiting right there for him to throw it, and then he did, and then he was like, mine, thank you. So, I mean, Alex Smith is obviously now going to be the starter. I mean, obviously, he's not a guy to take deep shots down the field. He's more of a game manager, like long, incremental drives, that take, 5+ minutes off the clock, besides from the 5-play drives that take a minute off the clock, or more than a minute, 3 minutes off the clock, So, I mean, Alex Smith, I mean, we all hope he does good. He's obviously going to win Comeback Player of the Year. I mean, if you say that it's Ben Roethlisberger, I mean, I get your point, but, still, it has to be Alex Smith, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I understand because, I mean, the comparison just to Ben Roethlisberger without him last year, it has absolutely no comparison to what happened to Alex Smith a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, on Thanksgiving, on the same day, same week as the Joe Theismann injury, same level of gruesomeness. It's just, it doesn't match Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger can't really match that and make a
case for Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah.
So I mean, hope Alex Smith does well in his games that he'll be playing. He'll probably be the starter for the rest of the year. I think Kyle Allen is done. However, if he doesn't play well, they obviously still have Dwayne Haskins to come in and play. But we all know how he's been doing in Washington. All right, now the main. Did you want to say something, Udine?
I was just agreeing.
Okay, all right. Next game, we have the Miami Dolphins and the Arizona Cardinals in an absolute shootout, 34-31, battle of the young, very talented quarterbacks,
athletic,
scrambling quarterbacks. I mean, Tua looked very good in this game for the Miami Dolphins. He was 22 for 28 or something, maybe 20 for 28, 230 something yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, obviously against the Rams, you played the Rams, they have really good defense. Didn't play great, but they still won because of defense. But now this was really going to be a test of can the offense do it, and they proved that they can. Tua with some really nice throws to Preston Williams for the 35-yard catch, and then the nice throw to Mac Hollins on the sideline of the end zone that really clinched the game. But, I mean, I was following the game on my phone. I was it was 34-31. Cardinals got the ball back with a minute something left on the clock, and I was like, oh, this is too much time, man. Because Kyler Murray, he was eating up yards on quarterback runs, 100+ yards and a touchdown for him on the ground. I got so nervous. We made a few nice stops on 3rd down, and then they just went for it on 4th down, obviously, and they got it. And then it came to 4th and 9 with 20 seconds left. They went for it, 49 yards, and Zane Gonzalez missed it short. Now, I'm very surprised that he still has a job right now. He has missed pretty easy field goals this year against the Seahawks a couple weeks ago.
Pretty easy game-winning field goals.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a history of it with Cleveland. He missed 4 field goals and a PAT, or 3 field goals and a PAT. All those were very, very easy. Now he's missing 50 or lower than 50-yard kicks, which should I mean, I don't really care if you miss it wide, but if you're in the NFL, you shouldn't really be missing 49-yarders short.
I mean, absolutely not. I'm like I said, I'm very surprised that he still has a job. That the Cardinals didn't release him and find a new kicker. But I mean, I'm obviously glad that he missed it. This puts the Dolphins at 5-3 and in really good standing to make a push for the division crown. I don't think that they can do it this year. Maybe give it another year, maybe two. Because the Bills, like I said, they look like they've found their stride from a couple weeks ago, and really look like they can win the division. And but I mean, I do think the Dolphins will make the playoffs as the 7 seed. I don't see them higher than that. Then we'd have to go up against like the Steelers or the Chiefs or someone like that, and I just don't want to do that. We don't have the firepower to beat those teams yet. So yeah, that's going to do it for the Week 9 recap. Now on to the Week 10 preview. We had the Thursday night game a few days ago. Colts win it 34-17. That was just not a great performance by the Titans at all. Their punter, who came in for the injured Brett Kern, had a 17-yard punt, and then a punt blocked for a touchdown. Like, that's just not...
That was terrible.
Yeah, it's just... Come on, man.
It's just... I think the main reason that they blocked that punt was... Because the blocked punt was after the 17-yard punt, and they realized how bad of a punter he was. So they said, we're just going to send the house. Because they know he's coming in for a Brett Kern, who is a very good punter. And so they just set the house on him because they knew that he still's got that 17-yard punt in the back of his mind, so he's going to get nervous and he's going to buckle down. And so they set the house and they got it.
Yeah,
I think one thing we're kind of missing here is added on to the fact that he had that 17-yard punt, which made him nervous. Which made him even more nervous is he's a rookie coming in for his NFL debut, backing up arguably the best punter in the league. So he's already got that, and now he's got the 17-yard punt. That was awful. And so, I mean, the mindset of the Colts special teams coordinator is put as much pressure on this young kid as we can, make him nervous, make him feel uncomfortable. And I mean, in the end, it clearly worked.
Yeah, it definitely worked, as they got the block punt. And something clever that the Colts Twitter account did was the guy who blocked it, I believe his last name was Speed. So they captioned the video "Speed Kills," so I thought that was pretty clever. But I mean, the Titans just could not get anything going on offense. They had a nice first few drives where they got some touchdowns and some scores, but after that, it was just all Colts from there. Nyheim Hines on his birthday, I mean, he scored 2 touchdowns and 115 total yards. I'm honestly really, because I had him for fantasy, and I was like, I should probably keep him because, he's playing the Titans. They don't have a great defense, but I dropped him for Mike Davis, who's now going to be the starter for Christian McCaffrey again. But I'm upset because I could have had him over Duke Johnson, who's playing the Browns this week. But so yeah, I mean, Colts win it 34-17. I mean, that was just absolute dominant performance by the Colts defense, and Phillip Rivers played really well, and Michael Pittman Jr. had 100 yards through the air. So, I mean, I think this is a very scary Colts team. They move into first place in the division in that AFC South with only really 2 contenders. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to Week 17, the Titans might have the lead, the Colts might have the lead, and it's just going to come down to that last week on who's going to win that division. I just have a gut feeling about it. Next game is the Bills and Cardinals. This is going to be a really, really, really good game. I am very excited to watch it if I am able to. Cardinals coming off that loss to the Dolphins. Bills coming off the win against the Seahawks. Very two very mobile quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen, he's very tall, but he's very fast, physical quarterback, not afraid to get a hit. But I think this is going to come down to whose run game is better, because we both know they have very high-powered offenses. Cardinals with Kenyon Drake, who might be coming back. DeAndre Hopkins, obviously. Chase Edmonds has played really well. Still have Larry Fitzgerald, who's not as good as he once was. But, I mean, he's still serviceable as a wide receiver. Bills have Stephon Diggs, John Brown, Cole Beasley, who's played really well. Devin Singletary, who we all know can play really well. And just, I think it's going to come down to the running game, which I think the Cardinals have a better run game, and the defense, which I think has to go to the Bills here. I mean, like I said, it's going to be a good game, back and forth battle. Take that back. I'm going with the Bills. I think the Bills can win this game. Take back everything I said about
happy you say that.
Take back everything I said.
Josh Allen.
Take back everything I said about the Cardinals. I think the Bills win this game. I think their defense is better. I think Patrick Peterson won't, and that cornerback crew won't really be able to contain Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley and John Brown. So, I mean, I think the Bills win this one. Like I said, back and forth battle. It's going to be a good game. Definitely watch it if you can. But, yeah, you guys got any predictions for this one?
I mean, I also am going to say Bills, not because I'm biased towards Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, but I just think that, I mean, Stephon Diggs, arguably the best route runner in the AFC, and I just don't know if the cornerback crew and the safeties are going to be able to stop, as you mentioned, Stephon Diggs, John Brown, and I mean, they've still got Singletary, who obviously hasn't shown much, but I mean, he's still, if you need to use him, he'll get you what you need. And I mean, I just don't think that the Cardinals are going to be able to do enough. As you said, it's going to be a great game, definitely one of the more entertaining games of this week. But I'm going to have to agree with you, and I'll have the Bills taking this one.
And next game we have battle of the 5th and 6th overall pick, Tua Tagovailoa and Justin Herbert, going down. Is it in Miami? Why do I feel like it? It is in Miami. I think this is going to be another really good game. I think the Dolphins can win this one, obviously. The defense for the Dolphins is much better than the Chargers. I think the Chargers run, the Dolphins run game is a little bit better. I mean, obviously, if we'd much rather have Myles Gaskin, but I mean, Tua can get it done. DeAndre Washington, who we traded for, is decent. We have a bunch of decent running backs, which I think is better than the Chargers, who actually have Kalen Ballage on the practice squad, who got a touchdown last week. He used to be on the Dolphins. They obviously don't have Eckler, but they do have Justin Jackson, who is out again this week. But I mean, the Chargers offense is very good. Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry's who's shown he can be a really good top 5 tight end, maybe top 10, maybe. But yeah, I mean, I think the Dolphins are going to win this one. I'm not going to say easily, but I'm going to go, by maybe double digits, maybe 10 to like 11 points. I mean, I just think the Dolphins have a better rounded team than the Chargers. And, I mean, we all know the Chargers are known for blowing games when it last second. So, you guys got any predictions for this one as well?
It's going to be another good game, even though the Chargers clearly have not been winning enough games. It should be a very fun one. But I still will have the Dolphins taking this one. I just don't think the Chargers will be able to stop Tua Tagovailoa, Devontae Parker, Myles Gaskin. I think
Myles Gaskin is out for another 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
Hmm. He got put on
Well,
IR before last
oh,
week's game.
I'll still have the Dolphins taking it because I just think that I don't trust the Chargers defense enough to be able to stop what Tua has been able to do. I mean, Cardinals clearly weren't able to stop it. I mean, they kind of were, but not to the point where the Dolphins could win, or the Cardinals could win. So I just don't have enough trust in the Chargers defense. I mean, they've got names. They've got, well, I guess not Derwin James anymore, but Melvin Ingram. They've still got guys that can produce, but I just don't trust the Chargers defense. They've been super unreliable this year, so I still will have the Dolphins taking this one in Miami. I think being in the having home field advantage will, even though there's no fans, I think it will, or some fans, I still think it will have a big impact on how the Dolphins want to play.
Dean, you got anything?
Yeah, just like what Dream said, I do have the Dolphins winning in this one. Darren James is not going to play the rest of the season with his injury he had, like, right before the season or whatever. And he was the base because he was like the best safety in the league at the time. So with him out for the rest of the season and then playing against the Miami Dolphins offense, which I believe is not one of the best offenses, but like based on the last couple of weeks,
One of the most underrated. Let's go with that.
I was gonna say they're also the most underrated offense in the league because Tua Tagovailoa is looking like rookie of the year. I mean, based on how he played against the Cardinals, look, he can run, he can throw, he can do it all. I mean, that's all really what you need in a quarterback. A field general.
But I mean, obviously these two are top three for rookie of the year candidates. As of right now, I would say Herbert wins it as it stands, just because we've only seen 2 games out of Tua, and I mean, but he could very easily win it if he continues to play well and the Dolphins make the playoffs. All right, and into the actual news, the Dolphins put 3 players on the COVID list. 2, pretty notable ones, and 1 not so much. Christian Wilkins and Kyle Van Noy are the 2 notable ones. Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle out of Clemson, second year in the league, I believe. He's been pretty decent for us this year, but Kyle Van Noy, I think, is the big one. Coming over from New England, he's proven himself to be very good. One of the Dolphins' defensive free agent signings. He was with Brian Flores, but in New England, but I think this is going to be a big loss, and I think the Chargers will be able to run over us with their running backs that they have. But yeah, and then news from the Steelers: Big Ben will play tomorrow, but along with 2 other players, one being Jalen Samuels and the other being Vince Williams. Those 3 will play tomorrow after they tested positive for COVID-19. I mean, obviously, if you were a Steelers fan, you were not excited if Mason Rudolph were to be playing again. But good thing he is not. I think the Steelers are going to be able to beat the Bengals. But I don't know if they would have been able to do it had the Steelers had Mason Rudolph. But yeah, that's really it. Oh, wait, no. We have Lamar Jackson, the big news story. We have Lamar Jackson saying that the opposing defenses are calling out their plays. And I don't know how to take that. I think it's kind of immature. I think would be one of the better ways to describe it. I mean, you just have to adjust. That's what my dad always has said, that, what the Patriots do, they're so good at adjusting, it takes one thing away and then there's the other or whatever. But I think Lamar Jackson has to be able to do that, and he hasn't. He's still stuck in the I have to run. Because he has to develop as a pocket passer, and that was one of the biggest things out of college, was that he was not a very good pocket passer. He didn't want to stay in the pocket, and sometimes you just have to. Because you don't always have to stay in, you don't always have to go outside the pocket. to make plays. And that's his biggest problem, and people aren't adjusting. People are adjusting, and he isn't adjusting back. So I think what the Ravens have to do, and this all goes back to what we were talking about a few weeks ago now. I think it's been maybe 3 weeks ago. They have to get creative again. They have to go back to the drawing board and say, look, this isn't working. We need to do this now, I mean, going into next season, Lamar Jackson obviously needs to develop as a pocket passer. He needs to get better at making some better reads within the pocket. But, I mean, the Ravens, they're winning games, and that is because of the defense, which has been one of the best in the league this year. I mean, I can't see how you say they've been winning because of Lamar Jackson. They've been winning because of that defense, and that is very obvious.
I mean, Lamar, I think, as you said, one of his, really bad problems, besides being able to stay in the pocket and make those easy throws that'll get them first downs, I don't think he's good enough or smart enough to be able to read defenses. I think, when you're in your stance, you've got to be able to, what's going on? 2 safeties back. Are they running a cover 2 or cover 6? Are they showing 6 and going cover 9? Is there 1 safety back and they're going to go man and you think it might be a blitz? He's got to be able to, all right, is this a play where I can stay in the pocket, or can I prematurely make the decision where I'm going to have to roll out because they're clearly sending 3 linebackers in plus 5 on the line? I just think his problem is he's not good enough at reading defenses. He's played tremendously average in the past couple of weeks. I think he's got to, over the offseason, when I expect him to make the playoffs, I don't expect him to win the Super Bowl, but in the offseason, I think Lamar's got to really develop and work on reading defenses. And I think John Harbaugh has got to teach him because he's been around for a long time. His brother, college from Michigan. I mean, that's a football family, those coaches, and I think John Harbaugh needs to do a better job of teaching Lamar, because Lamar's still young. He's still got a lot of time. But, I mean, if he keeps playing this way where he's got to run, he won't last a long time. He'll keep getting hit, and he'll keep getting worse at making quick decisions and playtime decisions. Yeah. What I think, if I'm just going to make a comparison really quick, I'm not saying, really, but I feel like John Harbaugh is treating Lamar Jackson like LeBron James. He's letting him literally do whatever he wants. He's not taking John Harbaugh's not really, taking matters into his own hands. Being the head coach of the Ravens for such a long time, also, I think Lamar Jackson is stuck in college. I really think he hasn't developed into an NFL player yet, because he's, every time he even just sees a lineman making a move against O-line, he's taking off. And, with that, he's not utilizing it correctly because he's taking off a little too much, especially, quarterbacks get hurt like that when they run so much. So, and right now, the NFL is a passing game. So he can't be a running back. He has to be a quarterback. And he needs to be a field general and look at the field and actually try and find open guys. And if he doesn't see anyone open, then he can take off. But what I think, he's taking off and doing all these fancy things, even if there's 2 or 3 receivers open, but he just wants to take matters into his own hands. So again, I think he is stuck in college. Yeah, I'll make one comparison. I'll make the comparison to Andrew Luck, because Andrew Luck, very similar play style, run, right? And Andrew Luck, he had that really, Andrew Luck was he could run. Andrew Luck could run.
Definitely, yeah.
And Andrew Luck retired, last year, and it was what? Why are you retiring? And many people say it's because he was running so much and he kept getting hit. So if Lamar wants to do something, he might eventually, his body might not be able to handle it anymore, and he might have to force himself to retire even if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, much like Andrew Luck and even Rob Gronkowski, who retired after after Super Bowl 53, he said football was just taking a toll on his body, and that was the same with Andrew Luck. And every big hit that Lamar Jackson takes, that takes half a season off his career, and if those keep adding up, he may retire by not even age 35. Obviously by then he'll have to, get into a pocket passer, but until then, last year, obviously, he won the MVP, and that was because no one knew how to play him. They'd only seen him for 5 weeks plus one playoff game. Last year they came out and they were so used to Joe Flacco, and they weren't used to being able to run. They were running read options. They were running design QB runs, and they were still trying to do that this year, but they're just not working because people know, all right, send 7 guys, drop back 4, and that is clearly, it's just not working for the Ravens anymore. So, Ravens, if they want to be taken seriously because, everyone knows that the Ravens are a good team because they have a good defense, but their offense needs to step up. And I think that's what it boils down to, is that the offense needs to get creative again and start to heat up again. Alright, that is going to do it for the NFL. And now onto the MLB. It is awards season. I guess it's now over, as the MVP was handed out a couple days ago now. And let me just say, I called every single award. I predicted Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year, Cy Young, MVP, and yeah. And I think they were all correct. I think they were all the correct guys who should have won. I'll go ahead and read off them in case you don't know. For NL Rookie of the Year, I'll go NL and then AL. So NL Rookie of the Year is Devin Williams, reliever for the Brewers. Manager of the Year was Don Mattingly from the Marlins. Cy Young was Trevor Bauer from the Reds. And MVP was Freddie Freeman from the Braves. I think those were all correct. The only one that could have been a little iffy was NL Rookie of the Year. I think that could have gone to Alec Boehm, third baseman from the Phillies, but I think they made the right decision by giving it to Devin Williams. Now onto the AL side for same order. Rookie of the Year, Kyle Lewis, center fielder for the Mariners. Manager of the Year was Kevin Cash from the Rays. Cy Young was Shane Bieber from the Indians, and MVP was Jose Abreu from the White Sox. Those were all correct, and I'm just gonna read you off some of the numbers and what I think these guys can do later on in their career. For Devin Williams, .33 ERA, 1 run in 27 innings pitched. He has one of the best changeups in the league. It is his put-out pitch. It is his go-to pitch, I think. But I think if teams can figure out how to hit it, I think he'll be in trouble and have to rely on more pitches such as fastballs, curveballs, sliders, something like that. But if he becomes a 2-pitch pitcher, just like Tyler Glasnow, we saw it this year with Glasnow. He was not as good as he was even last year. But I think Devin Williams, I think he could have a chance to be very, very good later on in his career. And that back end of the bullpen for the Brewers is absolutely nasty. You have Devin Williams coming into the 8th to, hold the lead for Josh Hader, one of the best closers in the league, to come in and close it down. I just think Devin Williams was the right choice, and I look forward to see what he can do the rest of his career. Now, AL Rookie of the Year, we had Kyle Lewis, who hit .262, 11 home runs, 54 hits, and 28 RBIs. Very solid stats. Now, just like the other 2 AL Rookie of the Year candidates, they kind of slowed down at the end of the season. Luis Robert slowed down, and I forgot who was the third one. But yeah, I think Kyle Lewis is a very good center fielder. I'm not gonna say as good as Griffey, but he could be I think he is the face of that franchise for the Mariners, and he has a chance to go down as one of the greater Mariners of all time. So let's see who. But yeah, on to the manager of the year. We have Don Mattingly and Kevin Cash. Those were both correct. Kevin Cash led the Rays to a 40-20 record. My bad. Kevin Cash, he's just one of the greater managers in the league. I mean, I hate to say it, because I'm a Yankees fan and I hate the Rays. But I think Kevin Cash is a very good mind in the for MLB. He knows how to handle a pitching staff. He obviously was one of the first guys to use an opener. I think that's one of the better strategies in the league. Marlins had a 31-29 record. I mean, just the fact, back to the Marlins, I'm sorry, but just to the fact that they were able to go through that COVID outbreak that they had, and then make the playoffs, make it to the divisional round against the Braves. They got swept. Now, but I think Don Mattingly totally deserves that award. 5th player in MLB history to win an MVP and Manager of the Year. Like I said about Kevin Cash, very deserving of the award. Great mind. He knows baseball inside and out. Now, what he did in the playoffs, especially Game 6 of the World Series with Blake Snell, is questionable. I will say that. But it is a regular season award, tied for best record in the MLB. Just homegrown talent. They don't need a big budget to do some good things in the league, Kevin Cash. So, very deserving. Now, Cy Young, Trevor Bauer, and Shane Bieber. These guys both lights out this year. I talked about Trevor Bauer as being the top free agent in my eyes. But they both were on the Indians at one point, and that just shows you him. Just imagine if they still had, if the Indians still had Shane Bieber, Trevor Bauer, and Mike Clevenger. They had it but then they traded away Bauer, then they traded away Clevenger. They're gonna keep Bieber just because they want to keep him. He is their guy. He's gonna become the face of that franchise with Francisco Lindor getting traded. But Trevor Bauer, I read off the stats last week, but I'll go ahead and do it again. 5-4, 1.73 ERA, 2 complete games. Now those were both 7-inning doubleheaders, and 100 Ks on the dot. I think he's one of the best pitchers in the league. I mean, and Shane Bieber's heading there too. But yeah, Shane Bieber, most strikeouts in the league with 122. Fastest player, one of the fastest players ever to reach 100 strikeouts in a season in terms of innings pitched. 1.63 ERA. Just lights out. Could not get touched by anyone. His curveball is one of the best in the league. Not so good in the playoffs, but drop my mouse there. But I think those two are definitely deserving. And Trevor Bauer, if he can continue this into next season, whoever signs him will be very happy. Now, AL MVP is Jose Abreu, who had a heck of a season. 317 average, 19 home runs, 76 hits, and 60 RBIs. He averaged an RBI for every game that he played in this year. I think that's just insane. I think that's one of the greatest things. Imagine someone who played 162 games in a regular season got 162 RBIs. It's insane. I mean, you're averaging every single game you're driving in a run. I think that's very valuable. And Jose Abreu, he was creeping up on Luke Voigt for the home run lead. Thank goodness he didn't get it. But yeah. Now on to the NL. Freddie Freeman. The Braves are my second favorite team, so I'm very happy that Freddie Freeman won the award. Now, one thing that I'm very surprised didn't happen was Marcell Ozuna finishing in the top 3. I'm still baffled about how he didn't. I believe it was Machado, Freeman, and Kalazuna didn't even come in the top three in front of Mookie Betts and Manny Machado. He came in sixth behind Juan Soto and Fernando Tatis, who slowed down at the end of the season. But I think that was very obvious. Again, just like the AL one. Now, I think this one was a little bit more obvious. Freddie Freeman just was just dominant this season at the plate. 314, 13 home runs, 73 hits, and 53 RBIs. I think he was one of the best players in the league this year, and definitely deserving of the MVP. He's always been a player that's always gonna get MVP votes, but he's just never able to do it. Just like Russell Wilson, for the NFL. He finally gets it. He finally gets an MVP. Finally gets a Grand Slam this year. First in his career. Two firsts for Freddie Freeman, and now we can look forward to the offseason and some big trades such as Francisco Lindor, free agent signings such as Trevor Bauer, George Springer, and Mayhew, who did decline the Yankees offer. And I'm sad. I'm extremely sad. I think what the Yankees are doing, they offered him the qualifying offer, and then they're gonna be like, all right, if a team offers you more money than we do, we will match it. Because DJ LeMahieu has said on many occasions that he wants to stay in New York. But I think the Yankees are like, all right, we'll match their offer. We'll even throw in some more money for you if you want it. Because they will do anything to keep DJ LeMahieu. And that means if they get to miss out on Trevor Bauer, I think they would take DJ LeMahieu. It just means so much for that team. But, yeah, that's going to do it for episode number 10, guys. I cannot believe it's been 10 weeks, starting with the NFL special. But, yeah, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the New Flame Sports Podcast. If you like this episode, go and hit the like button. If you like what we're doing around here, go and hit the subscribe button. And we will see you next week for episode number 11. I misspoke earlier. I meant to say that Ben Roethlisberger, Vince Williams, and Jamie Lynn Samuels only came in very close contact with someone who tested positive for COVID-19, who was Vance McDonald, who will be out Sunday. But I'm sorry if this is low quality and, at the end of the video, because my editing software is being done right now, and because I don't have my microphone with me right now. So, yeah, we'll see you next week for episode number 11.